Are you on edge?
Come on.
We live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs bi-monthly on MaximizeU.life and iTunes. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and courageous conversations about pushing boundaries, exploring our rough edges, and walking between the worlds of what is and what is yet to be. Join me, Sandra Bargman, on the edge of every day on MaximizeU.life. Hello, everyone. I am Sandra Bargman, and welcome to the Edge of Every Day, now at MaximizeU.life and streaming on your favorite podcast platforms. Are you a change maker? Do you walk between worlds, between cultures, between systems? If you answered yes to any of these questions, the Edge of Every Day is the place for you. In a nutshell, this podcast is about pushing boundaries and exploring rough edges. Through conversations and shared stories with friends and colleagues, it's my hope that we can begin to understand our edges. And what I mean by edges is those places where we are fearful, those places where we are resistant to change, those places where paradox and contradicting identities live in our beliefs and in our understandings, both individually and collectively. We live in edgy, challenging times. We cannot keep looking away from the ugly, from the difficult, and silence is no longer an option. Life isn't black or white, it's both, and I want to talk about that. I want to face the tension of paradox, and I want to engage in the hard conversations. I want to explore the rough edges between our light-filled brilliance and our dark, shadowy corners. Because the more we recognize our own edges and get real about them, the more we can help others to do the same. And that, I fully believe, can help to change the world. So, thanks again for tuning in. Today, we are live in the Hive with Irina Soriano, an author, TEDx and Keynote speaker, and a VP corporate executive. In the spring of 2018, Irina embarked on a transformative journey of self-discovery and empowerment, transitioning from a decade-long tenure at the same company that spanned 3 continents. This significant shift marked a new chapter without the familiar daily job routine, sparking a profound awakening within her, which highlighted the importance of self-belief and the power of leading by example to drive meaningful change. In today's episode, we focus on presence, purpose, limiting beliefs, and that embrace of change in leadership and in life. So without further ado, it is time to introduce my guest. Irina Soriano is the Vice President of Enablement and Process Excellence at Seismic, the world's leading software enablement company, where she and her global team have ownership of making the company's go-to-market engine more effective, more efficient, and more successful to fuel growth within the organization. She is the author of Tomorrow's Enablement for Today's Leaders and Generation Brand, as well as a TEDx and Keynote speaker, deeply passionate about empowering professionals globally in the corporate world and beyond. Her work spans across EMEA, Asia Pacific, and the US. She merges her global professional insights with personal experiences to help creative work environments where people at various stages of their careers and from all walks of life can thrive. Irina co-founded Sisterly, MINDSHIT to MINDSHIFT, with her sister Jo. The mission at Sisterly is to create a space for like-minded women to grow together into their full potential by collectively addressing our mind shit, mental clutter, through targeted strategies, boosting mental wellness and achieving mind shifts together. Her journey is a testament to the transformative impact of self-belief, offering a blueprint for realizing one's full potential and making significant contributions to professional and personal development. Welcome, 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 Irina Soriano.
You. Happy to be here.
It is such a pleasure to have you back here on the edge of every day. Those of you who are our faithful listeners may recall that I had Irina on in June of 2022.
Been a while.
It's been a while. A lot has happened. Well, first of all, let me just say for the record, it was a phenomenal conversation. I just so fully loved it and was so engaged and went, wow, listen to that. Listen to her. Just great. But what had happened that day, what we were just so sadly beaten down and blown away was that the Supreme Court had just announced and overturned Roe v. Wade, and I couldn't not talk about it, and it just stunned beyond belief. But it certainly fueled us, and it will continue to fuel all of us around the globe. But anyway, so before I jump into some other questions, I want to remind our listeners that you can hear, I was formerly, before I went to maximizeyou.life, I was formerly on talkradio.nyc, and you can get all 56 of those original episodes before I start to feed them into the new Buzzsprout platform, where you can get it on all your favorite platforms. But you can go to my YouTube channel, Sandra Bargeman, On the Edge of Every Day, and my conversation with Irina is episode 33. All right, so I love to share, as I did in that conversation, and I do with all my guests, how I know my guests, share with my listeners, I mean. And I know, for those of you who are new to the Edge of Every Day, I know Irina because I was the wedding officiant that she and her wonderful husband, Chris, chose to marry them.
A very special day, yes. And a long-lasting friendship. We're coming up on 8 years.
Yes, totally. Yes. Yeah, we just took to each other. It's such a beautiful wedding and such a fantastic global group of people. I was thrilled to be involved. So the questions that I always start with my guest, and it's become my go-to question because I think it's so important, and it's something that you and I touched upon in our first conversation. What identity, Irina, do you lead with?
That's actually a very good question. I would say the identity of vulnerability. I think it's especially in a world where a lot of us like to hide behind our flaws and our mistakes and the things we don't do well and the mind shit we carry around. I think it's very important that we create spaces for open conversation so we can step out of that darkness
mask
and to the light collectively.
Yeah.
Because only if we do it together, that's when the change happens. And you just alluded to that, right? Like, what can we do to change the world, and how can we make things better for people? So I think that would be my word.
Oh, love that. I love. This is such a glorious question to see how people answer it and what comes up. And, you know, you've just brought up probably the most, to me, the most powerful shift in leadership, the most powerful shift in our spiritual awakening, in our consciousness, and as we move forward, as humanity moves forward, is the willingness to take down that mask and to share our vulnerability, to share our stories, that to be witnessed by one another, and to know that we're not alone. That was gorgeous. Thank you. And my other question is, what worlds do you walk between?
What worlds? That's a good question. I would say I probably walk between the worlds of, living my corporate life
Mm.
and, and enabling and helping individuals in my work, to be more successful just in their life. But then the other world I walk in is just to try to create a change in the world for women as well. And I'm really living in both of those worlds at the same time.
Yeah.
And they are connected as well. Like they belong together in a certain way, which is actually a great thing. So I don't necessarily have to look at one or the other, but
Right.
there's a connection between the two.
It's interesting. Most of the people that I have on talk about the worlds that they quote unquote move between, when in fact they're not really moving between them at all. They're joining them together. And that goes back to vulnerability.
That's right.
Yeah. I love, love, love that. Yay. Well, at the end of our conversation 2 years ago, I asked you what was next for you. And you said, well, I have a new idea for a TEDx talk. And have you frozen? Uh-oh. Have you come back? There you are.
Back. Yes, I thought
And
something happened.
yes. And so I was saying that at the end of our conversation 2 years ago, you said you had a new idea. I asked you what was next for you, what was on your leading edge, and you said you had an idea for a TEDx talk, and you alluded that it was somewhat controversial, and so here we are. 2 years later, you have given it. And for my listeners, I was a part of the cheering
Yes,
audience for this phenomenal talk. It was absolutely fantastic. So, do you want to give the title, or should I?
Go for it.
From mind shit to mind shift. I loved it
Yes,
so much.
actually, you haven't seen it yet because for the listeners, the talk hasn't been published yet because it's been chosen to be in TEDx's editor's pick list. So it'll probably come out in the next few weeks. And the title of the talk is actually Why Women Don't Shit at Work. So it's a little bit more straightforward than
Right. Oh, I love this.
But you summarized it well. Like there's a whole.
Well, it's not like I'm giving anything away. It is, you do say that in Sisterly, but why women don't, that's right. I'm remembering why women don't shit at work, which I think it's comical, it's controversial, it piques your interest, and you can feel, and the second you say it out loud, the reality, the truth of it. So let's back up and what was the spark? What made you tell us the story of why this became your idea for your next TEDx?
That's a great question. And you're right. It's been 2 years, a good 2 years that I've been working on this idea. Going through the whole TEDx process takes a moment, right? With
really
applying for talks and finding the right stage. And I was very lucky to do so. And it was so great that you were there as well. So yeah, so it's been 2 years. How the whole topic came together, it was my second TEDx talk. And I knew I wanted to give another TEDx talk. And I also knew I wanted to, again, do a talk for women, just as I did in my first talk. But I wanted to drive more around the vulnerability. I wanted to pick something that's might sound a little bit odd to people when they're hearing it for the first time. Maybe something that pushes some buttons, right? And
walks the edge.
Like, what's the edge? And I was to be fair, I have to give my my husband a little bit the credit there as well, because there's one topic that him and I have been talking about for a really long time, and that is the fact that for many years, I wouldn't use the bathroom if I wasn't at home. So, and that was in school, I would call my mother to pick me up. But I would literally go home and call in sick for the day, just to go home and take a shit, if I can be so blunt. And
yes, you can totally be blunt on my show.
And I did the same in university. I had to like quit quit whatever I was doing to go home and use the bathroom if I couldn't make it to the end of the day.
Wow.
And I had done that for years. And when my corporate life started, I couldn't do that anymore. So I was forced to somehow find a vehicle to go to the bathroom without being detected, right? And something I then noticed very quickly, because for me it was a prominent thing. I would think about it in the day, and I'd go, "Oh, we're after lunch," or maybe I would not eat lunch because I wanted to avoid to go to the. I've done all sorts of things to try to avoid to use the bathroom. And after I did some surveys for the TEDx talk, I'm clearly not alone, because a lot of women would. Everybody's doing the same thing.
Wait a second. Do you think everybody, or is this more a woman thing?
I have I'm 15 years in the corporate world. I have not one time heard a woman go to the bathroom. And I've obviously gone to the bathroom a lot. Not one single time in my entire corporate life have I witnessed a woman go to the bathroom. I'm not saying taking a pee, but go doing number 2 in the bathroom. Never, ever, ever. And this has been a topic, with my husband, because I said, well, I'm not doing it and they are not doing it. Like, what's happening? Like, this is astonishing to me. And it's been something that's been top of my mind forever. And then when I talk with my husband about that, I'm like, he actually said, he's like, you know what, maybe that should be your next TEDx talk. And that's how this whole idea, then became a little bit bigger and morphed with the whole MINDSHIT idea, which was living on a separate path as I was doing things with my sister, and those two pieces just magically came together. But it's been a mystery for me. And for the TEDx talk, I had I only wanted to survey 50 women, and then the survey got sent around to other women because they were so keen to participate. And some of the questions in the survey included, what are you doing when you go to the bathroom? And there was a very small number who said, no, I just go, which again for me was like, well, where? Because I've never heard you go. Like, I found it interesting. And then many others said, well, but I go, but I have techniques. I go to another floor.
Techniques, yes.
Or
This is
I muffle
wild.
my flop, or
Yeah.
I flash a lot, or I cough really loud, or I wait until nobody's there and then I'm in the bathroom for half hour. So all these stories started to come up, and quite frankly, I just thought, this is crazy. Yet I have been part of that machinery my entire corporate life, obviously, to the point that until we all started to work from home, this wasn't a problem anymore. But some of the women then said the best thing about COVID was that I can finally shit in peace. And I was like,
Wow,
okay.
exactly. Well, I mean, I don't want to interrupt your flow, but I mean, this so begs like, why? What is the thing? Why women in particular? Why? What does that say about corporate life? What does that say about needing to be perfect? As if, what does that say about how we're culturized and socialized?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I never really thought about it, yet I was doing it myself for all these years, and until I started to do this work and talk to women and do interviews and just really ask all the questions. And I think it became pretty apparent fast that there is an underlying factor for women where there's a fear of judgment, right? And that's a fear in general. But there's specifically also a fear of judgment just amongst women. And we obviously happen to be in the same bathroom, right? And I think that's definitely something that plays into it. A lot of women also said, I don't want to be the topic of corridor gossip. I don't want people to
Mind-blowing.
talk about me, right? Which
about a natural body function.
yeah, yes. And again, I was part of that machinery, my whole life. So I can, I felt the same way. I'm like, nobody can ever know that I'm doing this, which is crazy when you really think about it.
And yes.
Yeah, so I think this fear of judgment is definitely something in there. And if we dig a little bit deeper, like, where does this come from? It's ingrained in our brain. Like, it almost feels like a part of our DNA, which really raises the question, like, how has it gotten to that? Like, why are we so afraid, and why are we so afraid also of the judgment, especially from other women? And I think the whole societal pressures that we've gotten, like the way we're supposed to be, you know, look nice, smell good, be pretty,
Sure.
like don't do anything
Don't
gross,
do any body function in front of
don't
any
fart,
mate. Yeah.
yeah, don't fart, like don't
Yeah.
take a
Don't.
shit, like God forbid you have to use the bathroom. I think there's just been something so ingrained from us since we're small by society. It's like, you know, keep your shit to yourself and move on with your day. And so we're really doing this to each other if you think about it, but you know, by default it's like it's just a setting we've been put into, you know, which is really sad. Like and I asked women, I said, if you were in the bathroom and another woman was in there and she would full on go to the bathroom, like would you judge that? And everybody's like, nah, I'd go.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
of
me
course.
too. I wish I
Right.
could do
You'd be
that.
like, set me free. She's
Like,
so free.
you're
Yeah.
liberated. I want to be you. I admire you. So yeah, it's
Okay.
just the fake narrative.
Totally fake narrative. So you
Yeah.
just said you keep your shit to yourself, and that's a great phrase to seg into. So, you know, the great symbolism of this talk. What is mind shit? You know, what is the I'm afraid, how do we make that leap from not shitting into my mind shit?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the you know, how it all came together, like the word MINDSHIT originated from my sister Jo and I. You alluded to this in my
Mm.
intro. So we started a company together called Sisterly, and before we did that for years, we would always talk about our shit we had going on in our life, and eventually we called it MINDSHIT when we were speaking about it.
Oh,
And as the TED idea kind of came up, you know, I said, hey, there's just something here. Like the actual idea is that women need to stop holding on to their shit, and that's physically and
yeah.
otherwise, because
Yes.
we're holding on to all of our shit as we go through life.
Yeah.
And the purpose is to really live a happier, like a more fulfilled, a more healthy, and more sustainable life, right?
More honest
And
and
honest and
authentic.
vulnerable and authentic, right? Any word insert
Oh,
here, you
yes,
know?
exactly.
It
Just, you know, wow.
Yeah, it fits right in there. So so that how the whole idea then was born, to say, hey, that there really is a connection, right? And actually the physical aspect, obviously, you know, it's funny and it's a bit hilarious and it's a bit crazy, but like the real topic behind it is the us holding onto our mind shit and really
Mm.
carrying it around
Not
everywhere where we
addressing it.
go, not addressing it. And women are also dealing with it differently than men do, right? And you
Right.
can see this come out in many different places, be it in the workplace, also be it at home, or you know, it's just the facade that we keep up, like nobody
Yeah.
should be knowing
Yeah.
about mind shit. There we are, back
Yeah.
to the hiding, you know.
Yeah. The hide, I was just going to say the hiding that you mentioned at the top, the hiding, the need to appear, to have that mask on and to be perfect,
Yeah,
whatever we think that that is.
yeah.
Wow. So in can you share as much as you can? Because I know that you can't get really into it because it hasn't been published yet, nor would you want to get complete. You would want to entice people in to hear the talk. But what are some of the moving mind shit to mind shifts do you suggest in your topic and in general?
Yeah, I can speak about it. I mean, this is part of our sisterly
Agreement.
that Jo
Oh,
and
totally.
I
Which we're
worked
going to
on.
get. We want to hear all about the
Totally.
creation of Sisterly as well.
Yeah, so I can totally speak about that. So the whole idea, so when we say mind shit to mind shift, and you'd think it's just one little letter, but it's
Mhm.
the little letter that changes your life, right? There's really kind of three steps to it, right? The first thing is that we are not really aware of like what mind shit necessarily we're carrying around. Like, what is it really? Just labeling it and giving it a name is actually pretty hard. And also understanding what are the triggers of the mind shit, right? So it's really
Yes.
like that discovery phase. Like I have several mind shifts that are pretty massive, and they will probably never just vanish and go away, but you can work on the actual triggers that make this mind shit go wild, right? The mind shit is kind of, it's part of us, right? And there will always be new shit coming into your life. So that's really step one. If you don't have the awareness and you don't understand you have a problem, you can't fix it, right?
Indeed,
So
indeed.
the baseline, and from there you move into just unpacking the shit. So why is this here? Like, how does this make me feel when this emotion comes out? Like, how am I reacting to myself? So what am I doing to myself? And often this leads to negative self-talk or procrastination. And then also, how am I reacting with others? Because some of these other people might also likely be triggers for my mind shit, because people can be a mind shit trigger.
Oh, but it can be. Most often are.
Yeah, well, most often are, right? So it could be situations, or it could be people, or it could be objects, right?
Yeah.
That would trigger it. So the step is really to go deep and understand, like, why is this here and how is this impacting my life, which also makes it a little bit easier to then, liberate it and really build a plan to go, how am I eliminating these triggers that I have in my life right now? And I can give you some examples if that helps. To not get rid of the mind shit, but to come to peace with the mind shit, which is a little bit of a different way of looking at it. And when that happens, it's usually a moment, like a second, where you go, like, all of a sudden I'm looking at it differently. Like something has changed, right? I've done all the work, and all of a sudden you experience this shift in mindset, which we call a mind shift. And the mind shit, just starts to change.
Well, it's like any internal work and doing shadow work. If you're willing to do the difficult internal know thyself work, that you must look at your triggers, and you must do more than just, well, I just don't like this person. And why is that? And keep going on deeper and underneath and underneath. And you can't get to that peaceful place. You can't get to that non-reactive place that you're talking about without looking at the dark things, the things that trigger you. So those shadows, and that's the edge of every day. That's one of the many reasons I wanted to have you on my show.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think often we look at those things and we go, I got to do something big, or I go, need to talk to somebody, or I need to get help. And in many cases that's the right thing to do, So I'm talking about mental wellness, not necessarily mental health. Like once you step into that neighborhood, definitely I would encourage everybody to do the right things and, and get the help that's needed. But we often forget that we have a choice with this. Like we can decide if this mind shit's going to dominate our life or not. And it's much easier than we think, right? You just need the right steps and the right method to do that. And that's the problem. That's, something we have looked for years and have not found until, we developed it ourselves, and we said, hey, now we can go bang, bang, bang. Like once you know how to do it, you can work through this pretty quickly, actually. And I've used it on, many different mindset triggers that I had in my life so
That's
far.
great. So the method that you have created is what is it called again? It's a part of your journal, your shit.
We call it the piece of shit method. Yes. Peace as in come to
peace. As in peace, yes, come to peace, a piece of shit. Oh, I have to tell you that when you watch this TEDx talk, you're going to laugh at the creative use of the word shit. So good. Anyway, but I digress. With my fourth grader humor around the word shit. So yeah, back to the piece of shit method. I love that. And your shit journal. This is a great seg into, first of all, before we get into the method. Well, no, tell us about the method first, and then let's talk about sisterly.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, the method is 3 steps, right? Discover your shit, unpack it, and liberate it. And how the method came together. So my sister and I were both certified coaches, right? So I obviously work in the realm of enablement. So I've been training, coaching, and, you know, doing leadership coaching and stuff for many, many years. And so has she. So as we started to work through MINDSHIT together, we started to always use the same 3 steps. And eventually we were like, you know what, there's something there. Like, this actually works. Can we make this simple and package it up so that people can understand it quickly? They can take it and they can apply it to their own life. And that's exactly what happened. And we obviously
and infuse it with the shit comedy as well, like
that's right.
bring a lightness to it, and an honesty and an authentic vibe to it. Yeah.
That is right. So that's why when we go through this with women and we do MINDSHIT coachings, you know, we name our MINDSHIT, and people call it all sorts of things, you know, all random thoughts of funny things. And we give them an emoticon afterwards that looks like their MINDSHIT. And this is not about making light of a situation, or making fun of a situation. Like,
No.
the whole point is MINDSHIT itself is hard enough, and we make it 10 times heavier than it needs to be. And by bringing a little bit of fun around, humor, right? You just come out. Sometimes I come out of these coaching sessions and I'm running them, right? So I feel much lighter with my own MINDSHIT, just having heard how somebody else has kind of put this lightness around theirs. And it's extremely powerful when women come collectively together in a spot like that. It changes everything. If you're alone with your MINDSHIT, you have a tough journey ahead. But when you collectively work on it, it just changes the game.
Yeah. So this method, piece of shit method, is what is in the shit journal. So let's show your shit journal. This is a gorgeous.
I have it right here.
Look at this.
A masterpiece designed by my sister Jo, who's the CEO of Monoki, which is an advertising agency in Hamburg, actually. So she lives in Germany and I live in New York. It took us, I think, probably a good year to put the shit journal together. It's designed for women, right? So all the graphics in there are women, and we purposefully did that. It's over 300 pages. Like, it's the difference, and what I was always looking for myself as well, which I could never find. Like, usually your journals are, you write. There's a tiny bit of guidance, but I'm not learning anything new, right? So the difference, what we did in the shit journal, is that it's aligned to the piece of shit method, and it brings you through each step where you work with one piece of MINDSHIT in detail. And then afterwards, once you master the method, then you can go. And you can go, okay, now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of MINDSHIT I work on at the same time. So it's guided, it's journaling, it's activities. Like, there's things to do, and you come out and you feel, okay, this was fairly easy to work through, and we have it designed in a way that you can almost use it like a workbook, and it's supporting you on your journey, but at the same time also lifts you up as you do this work, right? So again, I could use it a little longer than everybody else, because obviously as we were building prototypes, and then we did a pilot with women globally where we had, before I was even ready, like, we gave women the printout and they were working with, and they gave us feedback, and they said, this is good, and this is not good, and change this. And we took all the feedback and then built the final version, which is now
fantastic,
which is super.
On journaling, as we are coming to find out, the research and the data is coming in that it's just so powerful in helping people to shift their MINDSHIT.
Yeah. I mean, there's something behind it. Sitting down on a regular basis, and even just weekly, and spend the time is linked to decreased mental distress. I mean, there's many studies out there that have shown that. So doing this actual work is definitely a big help to drive, mental wellness overall.
Yeah. Well, and it's a sexy book too, which I think is just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
To your point about it, I can appreciate, I can do deep know thyself work and still manage to crack a dirty joke and have a great belly laugh at the same time. That is the edge of every day. That's real life. We can do both.
Agreed.
So, talk to me, you and Joe. I have to say, when I heard that you started this company with your sister, I had this stab of envy. Um, that oh, wouldn't it be great to do something with my sister? I wish I could do that. How glorious to start a company with your sister. Tell us about that process and how you came to create and found and build Sisterly.
Yeah, it's and I agree. The most special thing about it is that I'm doing it with my sister. Like it's
Oh.
our passion project, and it has brought us even closer since we started working on it. So like I said, I think it really was born around, us having this, although we're so far apart, having that sisterly bond, talking about all our shit, eventually coined MINDSHIT. We started coaching each other a bit. And from that, this method was born. And we said, you know what, let's just give this to some friends and let's give this to some family and kind of see like how they would use it. Because we would get together with friends and families and everybody's just talking about their shit, right? That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Right. How often do we sit down and go, I'm amazing and I had all these successes and accomplishments? No, we sit down and we
No,
talk shit.
well, and
That's
and a lot of us walk around with fake humbleness too. No, toot your horn. If you're
right.
gonna toot your mind shit,
Is.
toot your good stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were like, you know what? Use this method and tell us what happens. And all of a sudden, people were talking more about these mind shifts, right? Like, oh, I experienced this and something is better. And the conversation started to change. And I think that was the point when folks were like, you both need to do something with this. Like, put this out, give this to like, do something with it. And the idea really around Sisterly was to create a community where women can collectively come together and
Mhm.
work on their mind shit to create mind shifts. And the key word in this is to do it collectively,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
So
The power of
Sisterly is
community.
that's it. And Sisterly is a community at heart. Yes, we have the shit journal. That's what we're working with because you need a
A
tool and
unifier.
yeah, to also do this work. You can't just sit down and go, oh, let me get rid of my mind shit. It's just not going to work. So it needs some guidance behind it. And we said, let's give people a tool that they can use. And specifically within the community, like that is the work that we're doing there,
Mm.
right? Like bringing women together, make sure they know how to use the piece of shit method, and then also uplift and celebrate each other, right? That is the key piece. And also going, when I put all my mind shit out there for the first time, there were 10 people commenting on my thread and said, oh my God, I'm going to write the exact same thing. And that
Mm.
made me feel much better because
Yeah.
I knew it's not
Aw.
just it's not just me, right? So I think every woman comes into the community and we expect them to be a learner and a mentor.
Yeah.
So you're going to
Excellent.
give and you take and you give. It's not
Edge
needs,
of every day. You are
right?
both, not black or white.
That's right. That's right. And I think that's what makes Sisterly so special. And again, the
Mm.
journal is just the tool and the guide that we're using, but it's the power of that community. And when so many minds come together and also brainstorm ideas with each other, which is something which we do in our coaching sessions that we call sister storm, right? So we all
I love that.
sister storming together for whoever is going through the coaching to
Yeah.
give that sister ideas of what she can do, whatever journey she picked to liberate her mind shit. And I've written down tons of suggestions and ideas already that I could then also use on my own mind shit, right?
Yeah.
Things I've never heard about before that
Yeah,
random
that you are compelled. Yeah,
yeah.
just you opened
So
up the door and let yourself. Yeah. So you've kind of already answered this, but I'm gonna just in case there's something else. What have you learned about yourself in all of this process, and or what has surprised you the most about yourself in the process of creating this talk and this whole next chapter?
yeah, that's such a good question. You know what? I think I always thought I was vulnerable. Like I always
Mm.
because I would share about my life and and there's a lot of components in my life that make me and I was always kind of wearing a bit my hat on my sleeve. So I thought I was vulnerable. but I have, not as openly shared my mind shit. And because there was no reason to, right? And there was also
The
can I
fear.
the fear, can I say this out loud? Like, what's the repercussion if I do that? And I think so going through this process made me realize that while I say I'm vulnerable, I am holding back a lot of things. And I just stopped doing that. And
Mm.
and I had some women in the community say, like, can I put this out there? And can I say this? And my answer is always the same. Like, you need to truly feel in your heart that you're ready to share this, but only if we all do it. That's when the change starts to happen. Because in the end, if I draw a line under the mind shits are always going to be the same. I give you some examples of what women are saying. I'm not worthy. Nobody loves me. I'm lonely. I'm a complete imposter. Nobody wants to hire me. Those are the themes, right? And we all feel the same way. And I think now for women that are in that community, they start to realize that that's the case. And it makes it easier to step out of the shadow. But for me, I thought I was open, and I really came to realize, like, I wasn't. There was just a part of me I was holding back because I didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
The
really what it is.
shame, yeah. Yeah. And I think women, oh boy, I think women are really, really good at, particularly women who are out in sort of a more patriarchal kind of atmosphere with they're good at creating even the quote unquote vulnerable mask. I know how to convey it. I know how to sort of uh, um, telegraph it that I'm being vulnerable rather than I'm being genuinely vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sharing something that I'm really fucking scared to share.
Yeah. And I think you kind of hit on this a bit. This is also where are you sharing? Over wine with your friend, or kind of, in your workplace? We're talking different scenarios here also,
Yeah.
right? And you just said it, a lot of women work in places where, that are male dominated, right? I mean, I work in the tech space, definitely a male dominated industry, right? I am super lucky to work for an organization that is very heavy on the diversity and inclusion front, right? That is pro women, pro diversity. Like I've just been
Well, and of course, with you,
lucky,
yeah.
to be in a place like that. But not everybody is. Like
Mm.
I hear a lot of other stories where, especially when you get to the level where I'm right now as well, like higher up in the organizations, generally speaking, there are just more men, really, in any organization that you look at, right? That is just current status. And if you're more vulnerable in that type of position, that obviously also comes with some fear, right? Because you're stepping
Sure.
out in an environment where, men would usually not do that, right? It's a different type setup and a different type culture. And I think for women, that is hard. And, a lot of us have to show up in a way where it's maybe not 100% the way we really are, because we have to fit in a certain way. And I think a lot of women are running into that for sure.
Yeah. Well, and just changing the landscape, what we consider as vulnerable versus what we consider being honest. It's the ever spiraling understanding of what the workplace landscape looks like, what the leadership landscape looks like. Um, there's been so much change in that. And you, of course, with all of your work in leadership and all of the women that you mentor. And that's a really great seg into, I did want to touch on, Irina works a lot with young women, and she has her generation brand, was the focus of our first conversation 2 years ago, generation brand. We don't have enough time to really talk on this, nor did we want it to be the focus of this conversation, but I did want to touch upon it in this conversation, send people to listen to the conversation you and I shared about the book. Quickly, tell me succinctly what Generation Brand is about, what is Life Brand, and where people can find this book. I find it to be an extraordinary resource. So I did want to revisit it quickly one more time.
Yeah. So Life Brand is really our digital fingerprint, right? It
Mm,
goes beyond just our personal branding we do online. It's any footstep we've ever left online, from your Amazon review to the picture you posted in your private account on Facebook or Instagram to what you put on LinkedIn to build your brand, right? So that's really what I mean when I say Life Brand. And the book is really around how, first of all, the social media landscape is especially impacting young women,
mm,
their confidence,
mm.
growing up with generation brand from day one on the iPads and the internet, right? Unlike you and I, who did
Right.
not have that.
Thank God.
Um, thank God. I'm grateful for that. And what it does to that generation is they have to enter the workplace and be confident and build big careers. And if I look at the troubles that we're already having with imposter syndrome and, lack of confidence, like that next generation being so heavily influenced by the social media landscape, that's the focus of the book. And the Life Brand concept comes in to teach already young women how to own their social media presence and to ensure that they are also protecting their digital footprint and fingerprint, really both. Because ultimately we all know what happens when the cancel culture comes in and
Mhm.
when images get posted online from some drunken party, I don't know how many years ago. So the Life Brand vehicle is really a protection, especially for that generation, to put the seatbelt on when they go on the social media highway. That's
Yeah.
that's
It's
really
so
essential.
fantastic. I told every young woman I know to run, not walk, to get that book. But I do want to make the point that there are incredible nuggets for every single age in terms of understanding your life brand and how your social landscape impacts you in all that you do. So, so now where can have we touched upon, is there anything else you want to include that you want to talk about with Sisterly, with the Shit Journal? Have we
Yeah.
gotten everything? I feel like we did.
I think maybe just if women are interested to join. So,
Oh,
we
yes, that's,
we
yeah,
have a website,
absolutely.
which is just sisterly.nyc. And you can see oh, I got a thumbs up. You get the shit journal there. You can also join the community. You learn more about me and Joe, and
Just so
our
the listeners know,
history.
I'm a part of the community.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So I think that's probably the best spot. We're obviously on Instagram as well, same
Mhm.
sisterly.nyc. So happy to see people there, just sharing additional insights and knowledge and nuggets and just things that help, general techniques that help with overcoming mind shit as well. And then obviously if people want to connect with me
Mm,
directly, they can find me, across all of the platforms as well.
yeah.
If you
And
you-
irinasoriano.com, great website as well. Uh,
Yes, so that's for like for the speaking side of the
the
house,
keynotes, right? Yeah.
keynote speaking. So if anybody is interested in that, yeah, that's irinasoriano.com. I'll
And
link.
again, when can we catch this new TED? Now you can
I
already
don't
catch
know.
her first TEDx. Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Ooh. Oh, we're
Yeah,
all gonna wait
I
with
don't know yet.
bated breath with you.
Yeah, I do not have the date yet. So that's TEDx will release the talk. So yes, we
Fantastic.
don't know yet.
So
Hopefully.
this is titillating everyone who's listening to pay attention for go and follow or friend or like and get in the sisterly community and get with Irina. And plus you've also got what's the Something Edge, your fantastic newsletter. I
Oh,
love
the
that. It's
confidence edge.
the
Yes.
Confidence Edge, and I've subscribed to that. It's great. There are wonderful articles in there and that are not just apropos for a corporate life, even though that's their focus. But, again, the symbolism of all of these things, the tendrils flow out to all parts of life. Okay, well, I think we have touched upon everything that we must share with my glorious listeners. If there's any last words of wisdom you want to share, please do so.
I would say, be courageous. and and take the steps that you always were afraid of taking, because you never know, one, how it's going to change your life, but especially how it's going to change somebody else's life. And I think we often forget that. We're very, very self-centered at times. So
indeed, we can be.
but your
Indeed.
fellow sisters, you know.
Oh, that's beautiful advice. The power of courage, modeling courage, not only for yourself, but for all of those in your circle and on your spiral. Irina Soriano, thank you so much for sharing your talent and your wisdom and your inspiration with us on the edge of every day. And for my glorious listeners, remember, you are always at the edge of the miraculous. Until we speak again, take good care.